Why does this even exist? So Skins is a posthumous release from XXXTENTACION. It has been released very soon after the man was shot and killed earlier this year. At this point, I would say it's safe to say that the man is far more famous for the controversies surrounding him as a person than he is for the music he made. There's this very weird and bizarre legacy surrounding XXXTENTACION. Like, even though you can separate the artist from the art, that's totally fine. I'm not really going to shame anyone if they are willing to do that. But even just looking at the art from, you know, from an artistic standpoint, I just never really saw what was so innovative and fresh about this music that he made. Sure, he came up during the SoundCloud rap era. He, you know, blended a few genres together that might not have been the norm in hip-hop in the mainstream when he was doing it. But musically, I think it's safe to say that there really isn't that much greatness to what he made. Subjective, of course, there are people out there that love his music, but honestly, it baffles me. Just take away everything about this man and just looking at the music alone, I am baffled by the fact that people genuinely think he has some kind of legacy in his career. Even to the point where Kanye West himself is getting involved in this man's music. It's crazy. Like, you know, Kanye West is a music innovator and has had a massive influence on hip-hop for years and years and years. And clearly he sees something in this music because he is on this very album. I just don't know what I'm missing. Regardless of that, this album is essentially a cash grab. It really is reprehensible to have this existing, to be honest. Like, everything about this album to me just reeks. And to the point where I probably shouldn't even be bothering talking about this. Like, I'm probably adding to the problem by reviewing an album that starts off with this robotic voice that's supposed to be mimicking his intro tracks that he did on all his other releases. You know, with his, you're getting a vision into my mind, man, whoa. And instead, obviously, the man isn't here to do that, so they've got this robot doing it instead. It is ridiculous. Just everything about that is just wrong. Just stop with this crap. Just stop making posthumous releases that the artist didn't even intend on making, and probably didn't even have an Just stop making money off of the death of artists, please. They did it with Lil Peep earlier this year. I didn't listen to the album. Perhaps there's a difference in that album in the sense that Lil Peep may have decided these songs, but I honestly just listened to this album here and wonder what exactly they were thinking. These tracks are clearly not finished. Like, they are just so blatantly not finished. Some of them, I think it's track 2 and track 3, just stop dead. Like, they just stop. Like, they're barely 2 minutes long and they just suddenly abruptly end. Because they've essentially just taken a vocal, you know, snippet or something from XXX whenever he was recording and then just placed it over these instrumentals I very much doubt he decided to make in the first place. I would not be surprised if these tracks were made after his death and they've just literally placed his vocals over the instrumentals, because honestly there's this muffly tone to his voice throughout that makes me wonder where they got these vocals from, like where and how they fit in with the tracks. Track 4 is Whoa, and this track right here is essentially for like 80% of the song him going whoa, whoa, and his drawl, the vocals that you can barely understand because his voice has always been like this for some reason. I've just never understood the appeal to his wailing that he does. But even still, there's like a very short section of lyrics that, again, I just feel as though he probably recorded these and never had the chance to attach them to a full-length song. But so what they've done is just thrown on these looped words just to carry on the song for even longer than it needed to be, just so they could say this is a full track even though it probably was never a full track. The instrumental that's backing this is this beachy, dancehall type stuff that's really subtle, and I don't know, it doesn't really fit the tone of the album, so it's just kind of pointless in there. Difference interlude doesn't even sound fit for album material. This is the most demo sounding song I think I've heard on a full length album for a long time. That's even if you can call it a full length album. I mean, seriously, it barely touches 20 minutes. Again, I know he's always been known for making short albums, but this one just reeks of unfinished tracks that have been thrown on to an album just for the fact that it will sell records because of the man who it is. He died, there's a legacy surrounding him, let's make money off of that. It's just terrible. Yeah, there's a probable chance that he did in fact record these before he died, and you know, these were fully fleshed out songs that he wanted to keep, but they never made it to an album because he never got the chance to put them in an album. So there's no right for anyone to just throw these together. And if these songs are in fact finished tracks from the guy, they're just not very good anyway. Like, even if you took that context away from the fact that this is a posthumous cash grab, these tracks are so weak. I mean, the track with Kanye West where he starts screaming at the end, dude, this is just, what? Lyrically, it's just basic as all hell. And, you know, most of these tracks are just basic guitar chords. Just so simple. Like, the beats are just amateur as hell. Man, there is just nothing worth your time musically here. For me, it's just continuously highlighting the lack of creativity that was put into this guy's music, honestly. Even if this was an album filled with demos, it kind of doesn't really sound any different to what was on his actual albums, because every track he pretty much made had a demo-ish sounding quality to them. So they're going to continuously get away with finding these demo sounding songs that were probably finished songs anyway, because he just made songs that sound like demos his whole career, and then throw them all together on an album, even if stylistically it doesn't even work or whatever, you know. It's just, nah. 3.5 out of 10, this is not really good at all, and the context surrounding it makes it much worse for me. So yeah, I just can't really find anything remotely just worthy from this album. Like, I just can't find it. I'm sure this might be appealing to some fans of his that loved his music anyway, but just stop digging up the grave. Like, just leave the grave alone at this point. Stop digging up and making money from the dirt. It's pathetic. Subscribe if you enjoyed this review. Let me know your thoughts on this album if you've heard it. Have a good day.